What's up, Ringside Collectibles, WrestlingFigures.com fans? We're here for Ringside Fest 2023, and it's the moment everyone's been waiting for. The moment that we put Mattel, the Mattel WWE team, on the hot seat, and we ask the questions that you ask us to ask Mattel. The Q&A session is here. I'm here with Steve Ozer, Bill Miekina. Guys, how you doing today?
Doing good.
Great. Glad to be here with the Mean Gene Okerlund of wrestling action figures, and we'll answer all the hard-hitting questions. But you don't even have to call the hotline.
You're talking about me, right? Forgot to call who?
You don't even have to call the hotline to get the answers.
That's true. That's very true. And I don't think I've ever been more flattered than a Mean Gene comparison, so thank you. So we've had a really successful Ringside Fest so far. We spoke to some great talent. If you haven't seen the main Ringside Fest video, make sure you check that out. But now for the Q&As, we're going to get straight to the questions, and who knows, maybe some other surprises along the way. By the way, these are actual questions from fans. So these are not questions that we made up. These are our fan-selected questions, and we're giving them to you kind of straight from the horse's mouth, straight to the horse's mouth. So first question. Elite figures and basic figures have received technical upgrades over the years, as we know. Can you consider upgrading any championship belt designs like the Winged Eagle or the late 90s rounded championship or other classics, even some modern championship belts? They're wondering if there's additional detail you can add into the Winged Eagle championship, maybe a size or a shape that's a little more accurate than the mold that we've been using for so long. Bill, if you disagree with that, that's totally fine. I think what would you think about any adjustments? I think for accuracy's sake, we'll say.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep everything as accurate as possible. My kind of default answer to a lot of this is just when you consider tooling budgets, you know, my job is to figure out where that money is best spent. And if it's a slight adjustment to a belt, as opposed to like something larger that we're going to get more credit for, I will usually default to the second option. Sorry. But it's something, you know, if there is something that there's enough demand for where it would, you know, affect, you know, a future purchase, someone would, you know, enough people kind of say like, yeah, we would spend extra money to get this, that then obviously it rises in on the list of options.
Here's what I'll say that will help us a little bit move towards evolving some of those titles. Like, look, back in the day when they were initially created, they were fantastic. But, you know, Bill's skills have increased exponentially. Our abilities have increased. And tools don't last forever. I think that's a misconception that when we tool something, we have that tool forever. When you keep running that tool, it eventually, you know, has an expiration where you need to refresh that tool. So what I will give you my word to do is if I ever get wind of a championship belt tool expiring, I'll push to have that refresh, because that's a natural point where you have to create a new tool anyway. Yeah, that'll kind of help nudge things towards a guarantee of refreshing titles if needed. If
There's a place for it, then that's when you kind of consider it. And as Bill said before, you know, obviously you want to with budget move towards new things and maybe deco or things that haven't been seen, especially for newer characters, then kind of taking some of that budget and making an adjustment that doesn't necessarily need to be made. I understand maybe some might have criticisms, but I like the championship belts, so makes total sense. I think it sounds like if there's ever the right moment, we could definitely see it. Cool. So next question. While there will always likely be elite scale rings for sale, will it be possible to see packs of upgrade parts like turnbuckles, ring skirts, or posts if you only need one ring? I've heard a lot of people discussing, hey, I don't have the space for this. Like, you know, to have, I think if you have the space, like 4, 5, 6 elite scale rings is probably really exciting. You can build your different arenas out in a giant room, but for some people, it's like, oh man, I'm running out of places to put this. So they're wondering, could they switch, like, you know, if say they purchase the new Ringside shared exclusive WCW Nitro ring, they may want to just kind of convert that to a Raw ring, perhaps, right? Is that type of thing possible in the future?
So Bill and I didn't talk about this, like it wasn't the topic that we were talking about, but it came up in a conversation we had yesterday. That's like a long-term goal for the Ultimate Edition rings, is to be able to do add-on packs, whether they're, you know, cage panels or it could be ring skirts or, you know, whatever it may be, to give you more playability out of the existing rings you have. But we're still in like a user base building period of time for the rings. Obviously these are online only items, you know, shared items with Ringside Collectibles and Mattel Creations. So it's not like a mass retail thing where there's just tons and tons being produced like the basic rings. So as we expand the user base, as more people get a ring in each collector household, and we have a huge number, that it'll help justify being able to do like these add-on packs, because we know there'll be a huge audience out there who can potentially purchase them. So not a fun answer, but at least, you know, I want you to know there's a plan in place, and we're kind of trying to do things on purpose, and year after year grow that user base of people who own these rings. And then I can easily go into a meeting and say, hey, now we have X amount of people who have bought these rings. We can sell, you know, some cages or ring skirts or whatever it may be.
Yeah, so it sounds to me also like, in other words, if you are someone out there that doesn't have an Ultimate Edition ring, like now, you know, the Raw ring or the WCW Nitro ring, especially based on your favorite brand, now's a good time to get one of those, because it's going to make it easier in the future to consider exactly what we're looking for here.
Yeah, yeah.
Beyond rings, and as you mentioned there, you know, possible steel cages and play sets. The next question. We have previously heard from you about playsets and possible enhancements being in development. Do you have any updates on any playsets, like perhaps the barbershop window finally, or maybe even something more modern like Viking Rules playset?
Probably nothing we could talk about right now. I mean, there's always
right now.
Yeah.
We always talk about this stuff.
We do always talk about this
like
stuff.
Always. We all have our interview sets that we want to see come to fruition. It's all like retail opportunity based. We have the ideas, right? Mm-hmm. We see the feedback. We have our own ideas. So we know what to do eventually, but you need a retail partner who is ready to jump in and support in a massive way to bring something like this to life. Right now we're filling those retail slots with other items, but you know, we always look for the moment in time where we can like plug in these ideas into the right slot, and that's what eventually brings them to life.
Very cool. With that in mind, though, let me throw you a little curveball, because this question kind of, I would say, fits with it, and it was brought up a lot. What about what have you seen success in kind of the made-to-order productions that you've come out with? And with that being the case, are there further specific figures that could happen there, or even more so, like, you know, made-to-order play sets as opposed to like a crowdfund?
Sure. Yeah, totally. We could easily, you know, pivot, and instead of doing a figure one year, we'll do something else, whether it's a playset or accessories or something, but it has to be the right fit. You know, Mattel Creations is a retail partner to us, much like everyone else. So they obviously have some asks as well. It's not just me and Bill doing whatever we want to do. So, you know, if the stars align, the asks are there and the opportunity is there, we can nudge along, you know, I mean, any idea really, as long as the opportunity is the right opportunity. I know it's kind of like that answer kind of is like dancing around things, but it's also super transparent, right? Like that's how it works. Like, you know, Ringside is like, hey, we want X, and what can you deliver? And then Bill and I put our heads together and we figure out a way to make that happen, or a variation of that, you know, based on, you know, what you guys want to carry in the following year. So that's the insides of the toy business. I can't get any more real than that with you.
Yes, I mean, Steve kind of said it best. It's a lot of times like a lot of stuff that we, you know, have in our heads, like, you know, that we just want for ourselves, and we kind of think a lot of other people would want it. It's just finding the right retail partner that kind of wants that as well. And then when that converges, you're good to go.
When opportunity knocks, right? And so now
Absolutely.
this means, yeah, for sure. We're going to now have comment after comment on the Ringside Instagram asking us to start demanding the barbershop window. So I'm ready for that. Okay, next question. Can you give us any updates on further adjustments to parts or pieces for figures, like perhaps any knee pad adjustments or any figure tech changes? Not that there's anything wrong with what we already have, just obviously we've over the past few times we've done a Q&A, seen some changes, right? So what changes are coming next, and do you have anything kind of
I have one I can actually show off in person right now. We just got the first factory sample, not the first factory sample, but in a factory sample of the upcoming Ultimate Roman Reigns figure, where we have actually changed the torso from the previous one to a different one, which I think better reflects his appearance now. It's a little stockier, whereas the other one might have been a little bit more lean around the waist. We wanted to really get, just because Roman's very thick and powerful through the waist. We really wanted to represent that on the Ultimate, since we are calling the Ultimate, we want to be, the best version possible. We we kind of made the decision that it would be better to use a different torso for Roman going forward. So you can, I'll show him the camera. You can see the new Ultimate torso being used. It has the full shoulder butterfly articulation, and then also the 360 articulation at the abdomen, which we're trying to implement as much as possible with new torsos.
That's not the only Ultimate that's getting some upgrades, right? You got another one?
Yeah. Which one did you want to sneak?
How about Asuka? Do you have Asuka?
I do have Asuka. Asuka's done a preview, an update from a previous Ultimate Asuka, but it is the first ever Ultimate Asuka. I will bring her onto camera now because obviously I'm very happy with how this turned out. I mean, if you see this in hand, the soft goods, I don't know if this is the first time we're showing the soft goods in full, but it's pretty remarkable. Our soft good teams, I will say it every time I'm on camera, is the best in the business. And they hit it out of the park with this one. They created the artwork for this robe from reference. This did not exist before. There was an artist who recreated the pattern on her robe to match what was seen at the Royal Rumble. And the sculptor obviously sculpting the new mask. We had the face sculpts. I think this is the hat with the dripping blue mist coming down her mouth. This thing is obviously, being a fan of Asuka, I wanted to have an Ultimate Asuka in the line for, since the start of the line. And just when this new look debuted at the Rumble, I was immediately like, this is going to be that's going to be an awesome figure. And then also that's going to be a real challenge to pull off. Like, that one's not going to be an easy plane to land. And I think, not only was it did we land the play, but I think it was a perfect landing, like no turbulence. This is I'm really, really happy with how that figure turned out.
And when I was talking about upgrades, I was talking about she's actually the first female Ultimate that has the butterfly shoulders.
Yeah, she has enough space in her torso to allow for the butterfly. I'll actually pull off the robe and show it.
Very exciting. Great work, man. We do know what a big Asuka fan you are, and it looks like you get to keep your title as best ever designer of Japanese women's wrestling figures.
Yeah, I'm not losing that one without a fight. So yeah, there we go. The butterflies. So you can do, all sorts of dramatic poses.
I love it.
Yeah, it's among my favorite things I've worked on this year and across my time on the line. So,
and you mentioned knee pads. Kurt Angle, that Ultimate has new knee pads.
Okay.
Our basic designers, John and Hector, I think have done some new knee pads as well. And we're working on, we've done a lot of cool upgrades to elites over the last few years. True FX, double jointed elbows, pinless legs are going to roll out shortly across the line. and we're working on even more upgrades and modernization. So more to come. We're not resting on our laurels and sticking with status quo. Like elites, ultimates, everything are going to continuously improve over the next few years.
And with that, I have to I think I'm going to take a side road here and ask you guys, since we're lucky enough to see that Roman Reigns and lucky enough to see that Asuka, do you have anything else hanging around out there that you can show us that's either upcoming or close to upcoming? I would love to just kind of throw a curveball at you and trick everybody and show that there's more that happens in the Q&A other than questions and answers.
So
what else do you have over there?
I'll answer a question that I saw with some upcoming figures, and we can check out this whole wave if you want. But I have Elite 106, and I saw some questions about Roxanne Perez's championship title. And this is a resized version of the title. It's not the larger male version of the title. So you could check that out here, and I'll show you how that fits in the figure. So it does look, it's upside down. I pulled the DDP and Goldberg and had that title down on her. But that's how it looks on the figure. So properly sized NXT Women's Championship. Paul Bearer, which I'm super excited for. Maybe figure of the year candidate, right? Incredible.
For sure. I will say I've heard a lot of demand for the variant version. I think people like the Percy Pringle look a little bit more than the Dead Man look. There he is. Wow.
I mean, there he is, right?
Yeah, it's hard to beat that. I get it. I definitely get the golden era traditionalists, but you know, that's kind of the pallbearer that a lot of people remember is the version you just held up. So
and that figure was years in the making. And I think fortunately sometimes when we don't announce something and you know things need a little tweaking to get it right, we can pause, and Bill wisely put the brakes on it a couple times so he can nail it and get it right. But that was you know, hats off to Bill for knowing when to pause that figure, rework it a little bit, and I think it was well worth the wait. Nobody knew about it. I knew about it, and I was dying to get it out, but he made me wait, and he nailed it.
Much appreciated, Bill.
Chad Gable.
Oh, Shoosh. Nice.
Sammy. The tape over Uso on his leg, Zayn.
And that's like, this is lest we forget, this is like basically the hottest professional wrestling angle of the past 5 years. So to finally get that version of Sammy in there, it's gonna be really exciting for a lot of Bloodline enthusiasts.
Jay almost main event. Jay.
Okay.
And then Jimmy comes with that same shirt, and he's got interchangeable hair for I think the dreadlocks kind of look is on his head now. And more, you know, pulled those dreads out.
And when you say interchangeable hair, that's you can just pop it off and swap the looks here.
Yep.
Wow, check that out. That's new also, right? I'm trying to think of a past figure that's had interchangeable hair, and I don't know if that's been done.
I think Doink was the only one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, Doink was the first one, and that was accomplishable because he was bald on top. You're able to do a straight plug in the back, but this is a new process where you can like replace an entire head of hair with an entirely different shape.
They did a really nice job here. That hair is going to stay firmly in place due to how they engineered this. And I think once again, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, you went back and forth with them a few times to nail this and get it right.
Yeah, it took a little back and forth. The first injection mold in the hair was coming off way too. I mean, you'd put like a slight pressure on it and it would come right off. And it's like, it's got to be able to, you know, it can't be impossible to take off, but it shouldn't be something where if you touch the hair, it like slides off the head. So, I mean, you just work with your engineers and make sure that you get a result like we have there, where it's like it's a nice new feature that, again, we're adding new features to the Elite line now. Jimmy shows up with like long hair, the longer hair with like free flowing, and then like he puts it in dreadlocks, and it's like when you can't decide, like, man, which one do I want to put on the figure? It's like, well, now we have the ability to like put both, which is, you know, now you get to choose.
Yeah, that's new and exciting for sure.
And it is something that we'll be doing going forward. And I saw some questions on the forums and on social media. Is this replacing swappable heads? It is not. Because swappable heads are there for different facial expressions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone, you need a screaming head or a specific facial expression for a signature pose or something, like you still want to include those heads, especially in Ultimate Edition. But this is a way to vary up different hairstyles, action hairstyles, like the AJ Styles Ultimate. That probably could have been accomplished via swappable hair previously. The RVD ponytail, things like that. So you'll see a combination of the two going forward, but we're not replacing swappable heads with swappable hair. That's for sure.
Excellent. Great news. Cool to see something new like that. And please don't ever show me that angle again of just like the head with no hair. Very frightening. It looks like that guy from Star Trek with the spiky teeth. I'm not sure of his name, but anyway, that's very cool. Bill, do you have anything else that you're hiding over there?
Steve showed Chad Gable from 106, and a lot of people at the time when that was announced asked, where's Otis? When is Otis coming? Well, Otis is coming one wave later. I believe this might be the first look at the Otis figure. So he also has the Shoosh shirt. It's a little larger in frame to fit his larger frame. And then he also comes with
THICC for sure.
And he also comes with the interchangeable hair. So he's got the slick back look here. And you can replace it with the one where he's got like more of the bangs pulled forward. So depending on which version of Otis you want to display it with, you have two options for the hair. 106 had Roxanne Perez, so 107 will come with her nemesis, Cora Jade. Cora Jade comes with a lot of new parts and tooling on this really cool sort of shortened black kendo stick, which she carries around as, NXT's Mean Girl. And she's also has extensive tattoo work, which is recreated. She's got all the her body art, and also this she's got the barbed wire pattern on the outfit, which came out really nice. I think this is a sleeper figure of the way. This is one I'm really happy with. This is the 30th anniversary Raw Undertaker, and he comes with the Dead Man live show merch shirt, which he wore during the event. And he also has a new baseball cap with integrated headband underneath that you can wear that works with the hair, and it fits perfectly over the braid he has in the back. So it's not something where when you put, we didn't want an existing hat just would have looked really odd, trying to fit over that braid. So we actually, sculpted a new piece to make sure that we captured his look from that event as faithfully as possible. Grayson Waller, first time in the line, will debut, and then he will also have a chase version based off his time in NXT. So these are really excited to get him in the line. I also like, it's a little hard, maybe it's a neat little detail that I like, is that the NXT the hair is actually shorter on the sides to better match. When he was in NXT, the hair was a little shorter on the sides, and now he's on the main roster. The hair in the reference I got from this outfit was a little longer on the side, so we can have two chase versions that are sort of, more difference in appearance than just the outfits. Finn Balor, leader of Judgment Day version, comes with this really cool shiny entrance mask, and he also comes with two interchangeable heads to match this. You have the an existing head to use as the unmasked Finn Balor head, and then also the full spiky head mask. So you can choose to have him come out, in the hooded jacket with the standard head, the shiny entrance head, or the spiky head. And then and going back to upgrades, we rushed out a Solo Sikoa Elite, just because he was on the main roster and super hot at the time, but there was some, obviously, he came out like a little leaner that we would want, but in order to get the figure out as quickly as possible, we had to limit our tooling just to a head. But now we have a new Solo Sikoa with brand new with a new torso and a new hips, and also a new band across the lower abdomen to be more accurate to his appearance. because he is a stockier frame, and it's also a new head, and he can do the We the Ones.
Excellent.
So
Elite 106 and Elite 107, one after the other, and now everybody's had basically a nice first look. So appreciate that. Thank you guys, and good work as always. It's crazy to see not just one, the swappable hair is part of the line now. So that's just a great example of showing how, without even realizing it, these types of things can just be regularly implemented. And that's kind of, I think, what a lot of questions reflect and a lot of what people are looking for. So very cool, and appreciate the insights into the updates of the tech, and also to get some first looks here. So thanks for that, guys. Now back to our regularly scheduled grilling. So next question. We saw a new Bruno Sammartino this Ringside Fest. That was in the other reveal video. Will there be other pre-'80s legends in the works that could make an appearance in the line soon?
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Listen, we haven't heard "stay tuned" in a long time. That's exciting.
Stay tuned means you'll probably find out shortly. But yeah, stay tuned.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think you have to stay tuned very long on that one. But something we've been working on something pretty cool that I think will be breaking news soon.
Yeah, and you'll want to pre-order that Bruno to go along with what we're talking about.
So next question. Dominic Mysterio hasn't driven. By the way, I know we've asked this like so many Q&As now, and I know it's probably getting old and annoying, but I'm still just kind of blown away by the fact that it is continually being asked. So back to the question. Dominic Mysterio hasn't driven a lowrider to the ring yet, as you requested, but people still regularly demand an Eddie Guerrero style lowrider in the Mattel WWE line. Are we any closer to this?
I think we're closer. Yes. because a year's gone by since we've had Ringside Fest, and you've asked previously, maybe you asked at WrestleMania also. We want it.
I think both.
It's a vehicle that makes absolute sense. And as long as we're in the business of doing WWE vehicles, that has to be at the top of our list, or what are we even doing, right? It's a no-brainer. It goes back to what I said earlier about the right opportunity and parties coming into agreement that's the right move to make. But we hear you, we want to do it, and just we're waiting for our moment to sneak attack and force it into the line somewhere. So I think it's just a matter of time.
Next question. In Cody Rhodes news, WWE has started selling merchandise for his dog Pharaoh. Could we see Pharaoh make an appearance in the Mattel WWE line?
I hope so. I'm a big advocate for animal superstars. I would say maybe it's my forcefulness that got Matilda and Chloe into the line. But I think a little collection of animals would be great to have on your shelf, and Pharaoh would be awesome to add to that.
Pharaoh just needs a little more TV time, right? That's all.
Probably, yeah. Just sneak him on the camera once, and then we go, oh, there we go.
He's been on TV, Bill. He's been on TV.
Oh, okay. In that case, well, Cody, do it again, and then that way there's
there you go.
Bring the dog with every entrance, right? So it's undeniable.
So the Nitro entrance stage is now fully in the rearview mirror, but it's still regularly discussed by fans and collectors. Have you had a chance to reconsider any possible ways to get this in the hands of collectors, since it was so incredibly close to being funded?
Not officially, no. We had conversations amongst ourselves, obviously, because we're fans and we're close to it, but we're very far away from exploring trying to get that out officially. Once again, I was talking to Mike, the designer of the stage, and we had some ideas, but it's going to be a long time before we can attempt to revisit the Nitro stage, or maybe even full scale stages at that size. Just to be honest with you, doesn't mean we won't do made to order or crowdfund, but I think you're not going to see our next outing or outings be a scale stage.
the Ultimate Edition line is kind of your current premium line. Could we see a line that features even higher premium accessories like die-cast belts and additional soft goods? Is there a step above Ultimate Edition in your eyes, or does it kind of max out there?
I probably, right? Same answer as before. Bill, what were you going to say?
Yeah, maybe like on a case by case. I don't know if it would ever be like a separate line, but I could see case by case basis where if there's an offering that maybe demands, maybe a higher price point to get it like 100% on point, maybe something like that. But just adding like 2 more soft good shirts to an existing Ultimate just to charge more, like that doesn't seem like the best. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. But if there's something like that, necessitates the need to go above what we currently charge for Ultimates, I think that's something that would be considered.
And maybe there's an evolution beyond Ultimates at some point. But that's all, very forward thinking.
Speaking of Ultimate Edition, do you have any updates on the Ultimate Edition Macho Man Randy Savage that was pulled? On any updates on that being released, or any updates on Randy Savage's status for new figures?
Nope. We want it to come out, and we want more Randy Savages to come out, and I'm hoping someday that will happen.
Okay, fair enough. So we just saw the LWO 5-pack being produced to order. Could we see other faction packs produced? If so, does this make individual figures or legends able to be produced in this kind of made to order way as well?
Yes. Yeah, we've been doing multi-packs with various retail partners, even more so as of late. I think, there was a period of time where they kind of didn't perform that well due to, whatever reasons. But now they seem to be doing very well for WWE specifically, and we'll keep, doing different iterations of multi-packs, factions, memorable moments, whatever it may be. But you see them right now, the Then Now Forever pack, the Raw 30th pack, the Hogan pack, the multi-packs at ringside, like defining moments. So yeah, we'll keep it going. Lots to explore there.
Excellent.
Made to order, same thing. We had single figure made to orders, and we've done multi-pack made to order. So I think you kind of stretched a bunch of figures, one figure, so we can do any combination.
Are there any first time in the line figures that will show up in the specialty lines like Monday Night Wars or the pay-per-view sets?
Probably. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head, but if someone fits in, yes, we'll stick them in one of those lines, like Legends, right? Legends has first time in the line talent coming for sure. Still, it has in the past, and it continues. So we would want to do the same for Monday Night War or any other of our exclusive lines.
I'm reaching around in your mind to try and figure out who.
There's nothing in there. I don't remember. I know we're trying. Of course, we always work with WWE for new talent signings. And then when we get the green light, we put them in the best possible slots to make the most out of them. So.
All right, guys. Final question. I'm going to ask: why do you hate NXT? Just kidding. With main roster talent, obviously having more and more matches with NXT talent, we know how it works, right? Like NXT is, as much as people love it, it's not Raw or SmackDown, so it's not necessarily your priority. I wouldn't say not your priority, but Raw and SmackDown take precedence, right? And Legends, etc. So it makes its way.
We might have explained this. I think the last video where what happened when NXT sort of changed to NXT 2.0, like a lot of it was like such a clean slate where you had people that were on TV that hadn't been like established yet. And so it was really hard to justify putting someone in a lineup that like literally had like a week of TV presence, as opposed to like the previous version of NXT, where you had people that not only had presence through NXT, but a lot of people came into that league, established elsewhere, like a Finn Balor or a Nakamura, where you could immediately kind of put them in a lineup because they already had an established fan base. Now, 2 years on, and NXT has grown and evolved where a lot of the people now are established, and based off what we've shown today, like Grayson Waller, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, like those were people that like have had enough exposure and are established enough where we feel comfortable to put them in a lineup and think enough people will purchase them. So that's kind of like what happened with NXT. Now it's like we're always considering, from all three brands, who's the best choice to pick up a lineup. And, I would say like just by sheer sort of coincidence, like I think the last, there's an NXT person in every lineup now just because that's the best person put in the lineup.
I think the intention was always one per wave. But to Bill's point, there was a period of time where, it was a little more uncertain because there was some brand rebuilding going on. And now there's a lot less of that uncertainty. Like those talent are fully established. Some of the fully established NXT talent have moved up to main roster. So, we're back on track, one per wave. Same thing for basics, including NXT talent. Hopefully one per wave there, and more in some cases. You'll see waves where there's two, maybe even three potentially, if it's the right way to go for that wave, the right strategy, and we know that we'll have good sell-through of those figures, so we can move on to the next waves, or else you get into a clogging situation where you just kind of get stuck on things for a long time at retail on pegs. So we're just gonna try to keep making figs that people want, and that will sell.
And NXT is very clearly part of that consideration now. And I think for all intents and purposes, it has increased the amount of talent coming from NXT just based on exactly what you're saying. So that jumps right onto the final question. And I don't know. To me, I think you guys have had enough. I think it's time to take up the waterboarding away and just relax a little bit, and we can kind of wrap it up. So I appreciate you answering the questions that you answered. It's always a lot of fun to sit and do this. At least for me, being with the magnifying glass, getting really specific, and I hope it's fun for you guys to do this. I hope you don't mind. It wasn't too intense or challenging, right? I hope.
No, not at all. I mean, I think
okay.
most questions were fair. I mean, I'm not gonna we didn't have
Excellent.
to cut the camera and go like, yeah, get rid of that.
We've never had to do that.
Yeah, that's never happened. What are you talking about?
All right, guys. Thank you for the successful Q&A session. Thank you so much for joining us. Mattel WWE team, Bill Miekina, Steve Ozer. I very much appreciate you guys, and it's always a great time.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you for watching.
You got it.